Hey everyone, welcome to Mongrels Garage. Today we got a little bit of a shorter video. We're going to wire up an electric fan on the Parisienne. Why? Well, because I'm tired of not having filtered air going into the engine. We're going to show you how to do that. The physical stuff I've kind of already dealt with. I put the fan in place. You can mount those a variety of ways, so I'm not really showing you what I did because I just used simple zip ties to put mine in for now. But the electrical can be a little trickier, but it's not too bad, so we're going to walk you through that in this video.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Okay folks, well we're going to show you what we're up against. I've already got the fan mounted here, you can see that. I'll put power on it, hopefully you can see it turn. Just watch right there, I'm going to move my fingers. We got lots of airflow coming through here, enough to even turn the mechanical fan a bit. So I think that'll work pretty well. Now let me show you what we're running up against. So the problem comes with trying to mount this cold air intake. If I mount it like this, then obviously the pipe's going up, can't close the hood. So I have to mount it down, but to mount it down, the fan's in the way. And the rad hose is in the way. I could have probably fixed this if I had a little bit of a different water pump and I didn't have the spout on top here. This is a truck style. I think if you got the car style, it comes out a little bit differently, but I'm not positive on that. So no matter how I try to route that, like that, put it down here, well now it's kind of in with the fan. Turn it this way. So there's really no easy way to route this, and the alternator's on the other side. So kind of my best option is take the fan off, route it down here, and then put the air on it. So that's what we're going to do, but you know, we might even end up hitting the belt here, so we might be hooped no matter what we do. Hopefully not. The other option is I can just come straight off the front maybe. Need a much shorter filter if we're going to do that. So let's get into the wiring for the fan. Now because this is LS swapped, you're going to have to get an adapter right down here. You can get these off Amazon, and then you can just thread that right in there. That'll thread right into the block. You pull the little plug out, and there you go. You got your temperature switch, which you're going to need to actuate your fan. Well, at least that's how I'm doing it. Now up here we have our fan relay, and there's 4 wires that come off of this. One's going to go to battery, so that'll be this guy. And we're just going to hardwire that right to the battery. This one's going to go to the positive side of the fan right here. This black one, that'll go to our temperature switch down here. And then this gray one will go to an ignition 12-volt source. So these two are what we call the control side of the relay. You can see they're smaller wires, and they control the electromagnetic spring in here basically. So what happens is when you get the power here, it'll latch the relay. So that switch, when it gets positive ground, you'll let the power flow. The coil inside here will latch the relay by the magnet pulling it up, and then that'll bridge the gap for the big power. So that's what we're going to do. And so one side is going to the power for the fan, the other side is taking the power for the battery. So the fan wire over here, that's just going to go to ground. Well, we'll walk through this a little bit in more detail as we go through it. Okay, let's talk a quick second about protecting the wires. So we're just going to use this cheap plastic stuff for now, that's fine. So if we were going to do this like the factory does it, you'd have your wire coming through here, just feed it in. And if you didn't want this to slip around, well, that's actually staying in there really good. I usually can't get it to stay in there. Okay, so if you just take your electrical tape and you wrap it around like that, there's a chance that this thing can still slide around on your wire. But if you want it to stay still, what the factory would do is they would take their electrical tape and they would start it on the wiring bundle. In this case, just a single wire like that. Oh, here, we'll do it on this end. Go like that. And then where it feeds through the crack, now they would start wrapping it. And that would lock this in place, so you can see it can't move very easily. So that's how you get these to lock in place if you want to take the time to do that. Or you can just wrap it around the end, however you want to do it, but that's how the factory would do it, is they'd wrap the wire first, come out through the groove, and then wrap it around the corrugated plastic here. Okay, our kit came with this bus, so I think we're going to actually use it. I kind of like the idea. It's an extra layer of protection anyways between the fan and the relay and whatnot, and it'll actually give us maybe a grounding point for the switch down there. So we're just going to mount it on the side of the fender, and we can either mount it this way, however you want to do it, doesn't really matter. And then one side's going to tie into here, and then the fan power is going to tie into the other side. So that's what you're going to end up with, something like that. And before we go and mount this, we're going to make sure that our wire is going to make it to it with how we might want to run it. So we don't want this to be too taut. So yeah, that looks pretty good. I think right about there. That's what we want. Got some self-tappers here. There it goes. That took a bit of effort. That's weird.
That's not gone well. Sorry.
Okay, well, I'm not happy about that. Let's see, we got one of my bigger self-tappers. Okay, that should work pretty good. We're gonna have this over here, put a Dell clamp on there. We'll have this terminal here, and that'll go right on there, just like that. Yep, I like it.
All right, all right, all right.
That's amazing.
Give it a little tug. Yeah, it seems to be good. Excellent.
Excellent.
And we'll route our fan wiring along here, and we'll tie in over there. Come in behind the battery here. Too many wires. Yeah, it should work nice. There we go. Okay, that looks good. Moving on. There we go. Nice. We'll continue this, routing this way up to the battery. There we go. We've got our fan wire positive side, and we've got a relay wire positive side. Now that's the switch side, that's not the control side. So remember, there's two sides to the relay. The switch side has the bigger wire typically, the thicker gauge, and then the control side has the thinner gauged wire. So right now we're just working on the switched side of everything. So we'll get the fan done, we'll get both the negative, we'll get the positive done, and then we'll get onto the control side. Don't want to tighten these up too much. You over torque these, you can easily snap the stud or wreck the wire, so we're going to take it easy. Should be plenty good. Good. That is secure. So we're going to move on over to the battery, and we're going to get the positive side hooked up, and we're going to get the ground side hooked up. Okay, this wire we're going to terminate. Yeah, this comes right from the relay all the way up to the battery now, and we're just going to put it hot to the battery. This is our switched wire, and because I got a marine style battery, I'm going to terminate it right here. However, if you didn't have that, you could also terminate it on the post, or if you get a side mount, you could terminate it that way. So let's get that done. And I'll give it a little tug. Good. Go right there. You know what, I'll tape that up first actually. There we go, our hot side's all done. It's all routed.
You are terminated.
We've got our relay power going right to the battery, our switch power. We've got our fan switched power going to the bus, and then the fan positive going back to the motor from the other side of the bus. Okay, let's do the ground. It's pretty easy. That's just gonna run right over to the battery. Okay, the next side we're gonna deal with is this wire right here. And this is how we're going to control the circuit. Just go down to that thermostat down there, the switch. And one side's going to go to the relay, one side's just going to go to the ground. And we're going to have what's called a switched ground. So it's the ground side that's going to control the switching. It's pretty simplistic. I mean, we just take this down to that thermostat, take another ground wire, you find a good ground, tie it in, you're good to go. So let's get to doing that. I'm just going to use a blade connector for this part. I'm just afraid of that. We're good now. Okay, here we have our ground switching for our relay. This goes down to that thermostat. Like I said, we're not going to connect it right now because I do want to test the fan before. Now, the other thing we should do is we should put a fuse in here. I haven't done that yet because I don't have it, but I will do it. I'm going to put a fuse on this side so that if the fan draws too much, then it'll just pop the fuse and hopefully not melt wires. Now, the trickiest one to deal with is probably right here. And this one needs to go to a switched source. I got a fuse panel here, so I can go to all sorts of things on here. I just got to figure out which items come on with the key. The other thing I could do is I could run it in through the firewall, through the grommet, and I could run it into the fuse box. But there's not a lot of stuff on this car because it's so old. So we're going to see what comes alive when we turn the key to the on position, and we'll run it to something there. Okay, folks, we're going to test out our system so far. So I'm going to take this switched wire and we're going to give it a power source. There we go, that should work. We're going to take this ground side on the relay and we're going to ground it out. There we go. Okay, so far we're doing pretty good. So just a couple more things to hook up and we'll be in business. So here's a little tip. If you want to know your ground is going to work for your switch, take your relay ground that comes off the thermostat or the switch and touch it to where you plan on grounding the switch. So we're going to go right here. Well, it obviously works. So that's going to make a good ground, and it's nearby the switch, so we're good. Okay, so we're just making up our ground wire for the thermostat. It's got the blade connector on one end, and we're going to have our ring terminal on the other. And that ring terminal will go to where we tested our ground, which will be right on this clamp right here. So we don't need this wire to be too long. That down there, kind of route it how we want it. So right about there is all the length we need. We'll go a little bit extra just to make sure. And we'll terminate that. Okay, we're losing the light, but you can still see fairly good. So we got this thing routed. We're gonna have to come up with a new mount for the computer. That's fine. Everything's a little bit tight, but I think we got it. We got everything wired. We got our switched wire going to our fuse box here. We've got our power wire, our ground wire, our bus, and our relay. And we got our ground to our thermostat going up there. And then we've got the other ground wire going to the relay so it can do ground switching. So let's see how things go. We're gonna have to let this warm up. We'll see if the fan kicks on. Okay, folks, I do know that it's definitely warm. I can feel it. So the thermostat's open because our top hose has some heat in it. So we're getting close. Hopefully this will kick in soon. A bit of a rattle in it now for something. There it is. That's annoying. Hopefully that's just because it's on jack stands. We'll just clean up while we're waiting. Ooh, leftover wire. Nice. Oh, I gotta put tie wrap in there. That's dangerous right now. Got the tie wrap around the wires for the fan, but I have to kind of scoop it in by the fan here. That kicks on. It'll be ugly. Oh, yeah, we might have these too tight. Dang it. Well, this is exciting. Nope. No, it isn't. hurry up and wait. Maybe I'll go get the scanner and see what temperature we're at. Of course, just as I walk away, they kick on. Woo! There we go. That's what we wanted. Nice. Definitely flowing a lot of air through there. Let's see if they shut off now. Well, what's your bet? Do you think they'll shut off? Put your comments down below. Well, don't mind me, I'm just cleaning up. I'm out of frame, but I'm doing stuff. You know, I'll turn the heater on. Oh, the heater's definitely putting out heat. Okay, we got an engine coolant temp of 83 degrees Celsius.
I don't know what that is.
I don't feel like converting right now, and I know I can just turn this from metric to imperial units, so all right. Home settings, serial, there we go.
I'm here to put you back on schedule.
Okay, so we're at a 181.4 according to this, and that's not supposed to shut off till 175. Well, the good news is it's holding the temp anyways, 185. That's where the fan should kick on. I don't know, maybe we'll just go take it out for a drive. Okay, there we go. We got the electric fans wired up. They are cycling. Everything's working as it should. We managed to get that intake on there, so we got filtered air going into the engine, and it wasn't that bad of a job. Now, I do still prefer mechanical fans. That's my personal preference, but this is something we had to do to get around that. So I hope this video helps you out. If you're trying to put electric fans on your car, make sure you get enough there to cool everything, folks. You gotta have a lot of airflow. You gotta have a proper size rad and all that, depending on how much horsepower you're developing. And you need proper air intake and air extraction from under the hood. Some of the older cars, they don't have the best air extraction, so kind of think all these things through when you're picking out your fans. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. If you don't mind, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead. It doesn't cost anything. Check out some of the other videos. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this one, got any tips from it, leave some comments. It's all appreciated. It really helps our channel out. And I guess we're on to the red Camaro next. I don't know exactly when that'll come up, but it'll be on the channel again. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.